Okay, disclaimer, there's a few cusses in this video, probably in stark contrast to the average cash stuffing video. So if you're watching with little ones, then, maybe not the video for you. Hello, everyone. So still working on cash stuffing. I went back and looked at my previous videos. And I'm gonna try to upload them again at like 2 times speed because I'm a slow processor. So I think, especially when I'm trying to think through things that are complicated, I have to really be thinking about them. So I went too slow. So I'm gonna like speed them up and re-upload them just in case, I ever make a ton of money on this TikTok slash YouTube cash stuffing trend. So that is housekeeping. Second, so I'm still trying to figure out the, the nitty gritty, right? So, slow processor again. I might have to speed this one up too. But so the categories, the papers that I made in Google Sheets, which I worked so hard on, actually are working very well, because sometimes you need to have in one envelope / budget category things in your bank account and also cash. And so that's been working very well, especially because I use a bank called Aspiration. And the reason I use that is because there is no monthly minimum and no monthly fees. They're not a sponsor, but they've been good to me. Well, for a while I was accidentally signed up for all these philanthropic tree planting fees, but then I got out of that and now it's free. So recommend, but you can't go physically to the bank because it's an online bank. So getting cash is complicated. Everything's complicated in my life. And I don't have a car, so I like walk places, which has been really, really good for my body. Like I've lost a lot of weight. It's been great, but it makes it harder to get to the ATM. So anyway, that's all just kind of housekeeping, background. So mostly cash stuffing is fine when I have money to put into the envelopes. And so I'm still trying to figure out like now more like the day-to-day, harder things to figure out. So today I was on Reddit, and there's not a ton of stuff on Reddit for cash stuffing. So there was a link to a Discord. So this is me on Discord. Okay, so this is the first post, and I do want to mention before I get too far, I did thank them at the end because they were very nice to me, because like if I had posted this on Reddit, then somebody would have immediately been like, well, if you considered investing in the stock market, you must be mentally challenged. It's like, well, yeah, maybe I am, dumbass. Unless you want to solve that problem for me, maybe shut the fuck up, you ableist piece of shit. But anyway, so I put this up on here. So I said, hi everyone, I found this server from Reddit. I need help. So my income varies from each paycheck. I've been just manually delegating money into each envelope every 2 weeks. However, I want to streamline the process a bit. So let's say that I get my paycheck and it's for X, right? We don't know. I have already gone through and added up how much money I need for rent, phone bill, credit card, insurance, etc., because those expenses never change. So say those expenses are Y. I get paid every 2 weeks, and say that this pay cycle, X minus Y, happens to equal $300. So I've got $300 I can put toward cash stuffing. I don't like having to go through all my envelopes and decide how much of the $300 to divvy out to each one. I want it to just be like, okay, I always spend this percentage of my cash stuffing money on cat food, so now I immediately know how much I can spend on cat food. Obviously, I would want everything to add up to 100%, right? Because if you're spending 25% on one category, 25% on another category, I might be cognitively impaired, but I can figure that out. Okay, so, but I have a zillion envelopes, and I'm trying really hard to, I'm having a really hard time deciding how many percentage points to give to each one. I've got my spreadsheet, so it's not hard to tell if my categories add up to 100%. But deciding what percentage of my allowance to allocate to each category is being a pain. Is there a software out there for this somewhere, or maybe an app, okay? Okay, so a lovely woman, and I'm not including her name just to be polite, but she says, welcome. I'm sadly not sure or know of an app for this situation. I normally take the total of year for the product, i.e. cat food, or how much spending money I want for my holiday in 6 months. I then just divide what amount I need at the end of my deadline and how many weeks I have till then, and that's what I put in. For example, I helped my mom. She wanted 200 pounds for a holiday/vacation. She was going in 10 weeks, which was 10 pounds a week for her to achieve that goal. So this woman explained very well, like normal cash stuffing, right? This is what normal people do. Now me, I'm doing keeping it real cash stuffing. I don't really go on vacations. Well, I think I just prioritize money a little bit differently, but the primary problem is what I put next. All right, so my response, yeah, that's what I was trying to do, but it doesn't usually work out because even if I know what everything is going to cost, I don't actually have enough income to cover it. So say I know that I want $100 a week for groceries. I actually budget bi-weekly, but I was trying to give like a simple example. But alas, I don't have money for that. If I have a percentage and I'm like, okay, I put 25% of each check toward groceries, then I immediately know that I have $75 for groceries. Now, my lovely new friend says everyone has a different method as everyone's lives are different, and that's okay. So, Reddit, if you're listening, that is the way you are supposed to respond to people. So, thank you very much, friend, for actually being, kind on the internet. That's not hard. That's not easy to find. But anyway, so what I replied was, I guess the question is, I don't actually currently know what percentage I should put for groceries. Maybe I should spring for 30%. Those are the numbers I'm trying to generate. Maybe I can just rank them by importance and put in percentages accordingly. So here are my categories. So like I said, I did thank the woman, but she did not continue to reply after that. I think just because this is kind of an unusual situation. So I've got 13 categories. Well, technically there are 15, but one is laundry and one is the newspaper. And like basically, because the newspaper, they just kind of bill randomly. It's like a local paper. So they don't bill at like even intervals, but they bill the same amount. So like it's supposed to be $1 a week. So like sometimes they wait 6 weeks and sometimes they wait 3 months. So anyway, I just want to put money toward that, but it has to be the same amount. And laundry is like, pretty much $20 a week. Like there's really not much you can do, or $10 a week, $20 a pay cycle. And there's not too much you can do to really reduce that anymore. So these are my categories. They are currently in alphabetical order. And I'm not super, I think there's like a prioritizer app that I might have to put them in just to get them in order of like what's most likely to be most expensive. But I don't really know how to like generate these numbers yet. But so in alphabetical order, we've got birthday gifts because I do have family members, nieces, nephews, siblings, who I would like to be able to shop for sometimes, especially while the kids are still little, but it's hard with money. 2 is boring unavoidables, which is the basically miscellaneous category. So that's everything from like toothpaste to like cleaning supplies. One time I had to spend it on like antivirus software, right? So this is just like stuff that like you have to keep the household running. And hold on, I'll get my cat here. Cat needs me to throw his toy. All right, so those are just things that you need to keep the household running. 3 is cat food, which seems to be the most expensive component of having a cat. So Well, I've been giving him canned food because the vet told me one thing, Jackson Galaxy said the other, and so I'm trying to like figure it out. But maybe I need to get him cheaper cat food. But anyway, right now it's a separate line item because it's expensive. Anyway, daily OTCs. So that's like supplements. Like I'm supposed to take a calcium citrate supplement because I have kidney stones, and I guess counterintuitively that helps. So like basically supplements that I'm supposed to be taking. Entertainment. So that's usually like a coffee from Dunks, honestly, because I don't have a ton of money. Fashion. You know, a professional woman would be spending more money on that. Food and groceries, which obviously needs to be a large one. Healthcare, so that's mostly, I haven't met my deductible yet for prescriptions, but like basically things that like the doctor says you have to buy, basically prescriptions and whatever, pet supplies in general. So I have a turtle. He's very unassuming. His stuff costs less than the cat stuff. So like if he needs a light bulb changed, or if the cat has a lot of requests. And so that's pet supplies, savings for Bluehost. So the apostate turtle has a blog at apostateturtle.com. And every year I have to renew that. I don't get any money off of the blog because I'm the only one reading it, but I do like having it. So I have to save up for that. But if it comes to it, then like when I have to spend it, I can just kind of like, you know, come up with a solution. So it's in August. So if I try to save like, you know, X number of dollars divided up by pay cycle, I might not be able to save as much as I need in one pay cycle, but I might be able to do more in another one. So I feel like it needs to be more of a percentage of my earning and not as much, like, there's a fight outside my window. The joys. Okay. But not so much like in a set amount every 2 weeks. And then toward ongoing shopping list. So I've got everything on there from like, you know, I want to finish the tattoo I got started. I want to get a filing cabinet. Like, you know, I've got a huge like list. This is why people think like, oh, if a poor person gets money, they immediately spend it. It's like, yeah, because we have been not buying things for so long that now we've got this huge backlog. And so anyway, that's what that is. Transportation. So this doesn't include the monthly bus pass, which I already have. That would have been under Y dollars because that's like planned. It's once a month. It costs the same amount every month. But I do spend money on like the train or like Uber, Lyft, things like that. If I have to take the subway, right? And finally, Christmas gifts. So last year I was not able to get the kids any Christmas gifts. I was devastated. And so I want to be able to save money for Christmas gifts. So those are the 13 categories other than laundry and newspaper, which I want to be able to figure out a percentage. So imagine I was like, oh, birthday gifts, you know, that's like 7%, which probably not going to be, but say I said 7% and then I earn whatever, I have $300, then instead of like having to calculate like, okay, how much of this $300 am I going to give to each thing, I would just be able to take $300, put it in my spreadsheet, like multiply automatically by each percentage that I would have ready, and then be able to finish. So let me make an example of like what that would look like. So this is, I just went ahead and just like took the spreadsheet and just kind of multiplied it out. So the blue ones on the left, oh, I didn't bold print the top row. That probably will bother only me. But anyway, so envelope, percentage of allowance, allowance and total. It should be like a bold printed in like frozen row, right? That's the titles. You can figure that out. But the blue on the left would be like set, right? Like this, you know, doesn't, that would just be already there for me. and then say my allowance is $300, I would just be able to put 300 all the way down the row and then generate the total in like 2 seconds. And that to me would be much faster, easier, and more efficient than having to recalculate everything every time. So that is what I am currently trying to figure out. And if you have been in a similar situation, then hopefully you will leave a comment and be like, oh, this is what I did. This is how I organized the thing. I guess like, yeah, just divide 100 by 13 would be a good first step and just kind of go from there. But yeah, so that's kind of, once I get it figured out, I will post an update, because maybe you're like, oh, I've been wondering the same thing. I've been looking for a keeping it real cash stuffer. Then that is me. I will solve this, and you will be like, oh, part 4, I can't wait, because that's when the apostate turtle figures it out. It's like, okay, I will see you then.